Welcome to Wrong Time Watch. My name is Kevin, and today we're taking a quick look at two watches that I would say share some of the same DNA. This is the Praesidus Rec Spec with the khaki brown dial on the sand brown leather strap. MSRP for this watch is $295. And this is a Seiko 5 that I've owned for 6 years and never really wore it. So this is the SNKL23, and it looks like these are about $140 on Amazon right now. I'll try to leave a link in the description below to both of these watches. This watch was provided to me, so I'll also try to mark the video as a paid promotion. So the Rec Spec is a homage or a recreation of a Seiko watch that the MACV SOG unit used in the Vietnam War, Vietnam conflict. So that unit sourced watches, they sourced Seiko watches from the local Vietnamese market, and this watch is a recreation of that. So you can see we have the 4 o'clock kind of a hidden crown here, which the Seiko 5 has as well. Seiko 5 has had that for a long time. And this actually has a 7S26 movement, which has since been discontinued. And this has the NH34 movement, which is Seiko's. I don't know what they actually change on it, but it's the same thing as the 4R36 movement. But Seiko brands them NH36 when they sell them to other companies to use in their watches. So this one we have a mineral crystal with sapphire coating on top of the mineral crystal to aid in the scratch resistance, and then the Seiko has the Hardlex crystal, which is supposedly is a hardened mineral crystal, and is supposedly a little more scratch resistant. So the dimensions of these watches are very similar. This one we're at 45mm lug to lug, brushed and polished. We do have drilled lugs here. 38mm case, 12.3 thick, 20mm lug width, and it tapers down to 16mm. I much prefer the 20mm lug width versus the 18 on this one. I think it looks a little more proportional. Kind of similar to the Rolex Datejust with the 36mm case and the 20mm lug width. So this has the same diameter case, 38mm. Lug to lug is just a tad bit longer at 45.4. Thickness is thinner, 10.5, so almost 2mm thinner. 18mm lug width, and this bracelet tapers down to 16mm. The crown's a little bit larger on this one, 3.9mm crown versus a 3.5mm crown on this one. So very small crowns. Does take a little bit to get them out and to operate the crown, so it takes a little bit more effort than say like a crown on a dive watch. But that's kind of the sacrifice you have to put up with to have this hidden crown look. It does give it a nice sleek look. So this one we have applied indices. We have a textured dial. Hopefully you can see that on your end of the camera here. The circumference of the dial has texturing. The center of the dial it does not have texturing. We have that framed date window, date. So this one, Sunday is in red. Let's see, which direction do I need to turn this? That direction. So Sunday is in red, and I believe it is on this one too. I probably should move the handset, make sure I'm out of the danger zone. So this one, the crown is a little more difficult to operate. I'm not sure if that's due to the shape of the lugs. You know, it could be due to that 20mm lug width with the lugs pushed out a little bit and they're kind of a little bit more straight. This one here, they're angled down, so it's a little easier to operate that crown. Anyway, let's turn this handset back. That should be far enough. And then, so we have a red Sunday on this one as well, so that's pretty cool. I like how the day is white and the date is black. The dial's a different color than the day date window anyway, so kind of a neat look there. So 11 of these indices are loomed. We don't have an indice at the 3 o'clock position. And that's the same for this one. Actually, we do have Lume on here. So this one, all 12 Lume. We have Lume pips at all 12 indices. And then we have applied indices at the other ones. Then the hour and minute hand are loomed on this. And it's the same for this one here. Hour and minute hand are loomed. I'll compare the Lume at the end of the video. I'm going to say that this one's going to have the better Lume. That has pretty good Lume, actually. On the indices, at least, the handset's not quite as good, but pretty thin Lume applied there, so that's understandable. Zooming in on this dial, we have United States assembly, which is a nice touch. Take a closer look at this dial. It's actually flat on the top. It's a box dome crystal, and it's dead flat on the top, so it makes it nice and easy to tell the time with. And there is AR coating applied to this crystal, this mineral crystal. We have a milled buckle and milled tang. We have quick release pins here. The back of the watch case is bead blasted. And just look at the polishing and the the brushed size and the polished chamfered edge, and then brushed on the top. This one we have the polished bezel on the bevel on the bezel. Got that mixed up. Brushed sides, polished chamfered edge again here, and brushed on the top. So quite a few similarities between these two watches. This one has the better movement. These are still for sale, and I believe they still have this 7S26 movement, even though they've been discontinued. So I don't know if those are new old stock watches or how that works exactly, but like I said, I'll leave the link in the description to Amazon. And there's a look at that movement. So with the 7S26 movement, it does not hack. So if I pull the second hand all the way out, if I pull the crown all the way out, the second hand does not stop. And on this one it does. So second hand has stopped. This is the upgraded version of the 7S26 movement, basically. Also, you cannot hand wind this. You can just give it the Seiko shake it a few times, and the rotor will get moving, and then the second hand will take off. So let me get both of these on wrist. Oh, also 50 meters of water resistance on the Praesidus, 30 meters on the Seiko 5. So let's get these both on wrist. Oh, before I get there, this has a folded sheet metal stamped bracelet, stamped hollow end link, stamped clasp. So nothing milled or solid about this bracelet. I guess that's part of the charm. It's pretty lightweight. It's 95 grams. I guess I'll consider that lightweight. This one is 62 grams. You don't have a metal bracelet, so that makes sense. So these watches will look very similar on my wrist, very similar size. This is a good looking watch, really. And well, you could probably find something around the same price on AliExpress with a little bit better specs. Sapphire crystal, better movement. But it doesn't have Seiko on the dial. Doesn't have that lineage to it. And now, put this one on wrist. So I have a 6.5 inch wrist, 52 millimeter wristband. I'm on the tightest hole position here on the leather strap. And I think you could go up to about 8.5 inches. So if you're between 6.5 and 8.5, you should be able to wear this leather strap. I like the dial and the strap, how they match each other pretty well. It's a little bit thick of a watch, but I think all that thickness is due to that crystal there. 50 meters of water resistance. It's plenty for day to day. 30 is that's okay too. And I guess if anything happens to that watch, you can always just buy a new one for the price. All right, let's take a look at the Lume. With the Seiko 5 on the left here, and then the Praesidus on the right. You know, the Seiko actually does have a fair amount of Lume considering how small those indices are. And I would say the handset on the Seiko is actually a little bit brighter than the Praesidus, but the indices are much brighter on this watch on the right here, the Rec Spec. Alright, well that will conclude this video. As always, thank you for your time and thank you for watching.